What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Vinyl Jukebox. My name is Ben, and today we're going to be going through my top 10 albums of 2023. Now, before we get started, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of the great content that I'm going to be bringing you on this new channel. So 2023 was a great year for albums, in my opinion. We had great comeback albums from legacy artists, as well as awesome follow-up albums from newer artists as well. So week to week to week, I always felt like I had something new to listen to, and my release radar on Spotify was always full of great new music, whether it be singles, whether it be whole albums. So I really thought that this year was a great year for music. Without further ado, let's get started. Coming in at number 10, Mammoth 2 by Mammoth WVH. This is the second studio album from Wolfgang Van Halen and produced by Elvis Baskett. And you would know Elvis Baskett from producing Alter Bridge's albums, as well as Slash featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators. Much shorter than the debut album. All right, 4 songs less, so 10 tracks as opposed to 14. But I thought that allowed for this album to have more killer, less filler, some standout tracks from this album, like A Pastime, The Rocker, Another Celebration at the End of the World, and also the track Optimist coming in at number 6 on the album, which had a really, really heavy, brutal breakdown on it that stood out for me as I listened to the album. So I thought that overall, the songs were very similar to the debut, did not stray very far from the path, but I'm looking forward to see if Wolfgang decides to mix things up for the next album. Maybe changes up the sound, maybe changes up direction, decides to experiment a little more. So we'll see as we get closer to the release of another album. Coming in at number 9 would be Jared James Nichols' self-titled album. This one I decided to pick up on CD. And Jared James Nichols is one of my favorite new guitar players over the last few years. Notably, his Instagram, if you don't follow it, please be sure to do so. He's always posting really cool jams, playing over another track and just absolutely shredding some killer blues. This is his 3rd studio album, self-titled. And what was very interesting to me about this album was Marty Fredrickson, the producer, as well as Tyler Bryant of Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown, both have songwriting credits on this album, and you can really hear it from the sound of these songs. Very raw, heavy blues rock sound that we know Jared James Nichols for. Some standout tracks for me: Easy Come, Easy Go, so catchy, a really cool boogie groove to that song, as well as Hardwired, very heavy blues, fuzz guitar, just in your face, throttling you with some awesome sound. So if you're looking for some heavy blues rock, raw, Jared James Nichols debut album, awesome. Coming in at number 8, Aaron Jones, Chronicles of the Kids, second studio album. His debut absolutely floored me. I love that debut. And this one did not disappoint as well. So this one was produced by our friend Marty Fredrickson. He's going to come up a few times throughout this video. And it's much heavier and much more produced than the debut album, in my opinion. And that's not a bad thing. Some standout tracks, The Title, which I think could be an awesome stadium anthem, especially with the Super Bowl coming up, baseball season. If Major League Baseball and NFL, if you're not using The Title for your TV promos, then there's something seriously wrong, because that is a rocker meant for stadiums, meant for sports. My America and the song Filthy, which was the first single, I believe, from this album, absolutely what the title says, absolutely filthy, heavy blues rock in your face. I actually saw Aaron Jones a couple years ago, at a radio station festival in Camden called MMRBQ, and he only played for about 20 minutes. He was one of the first artists on the bill, but absolutely rocked. Insane energy, great showman, an amazing sound, amazing live vocals. If you haven't gotten a chance to see him live, definitely check him out. Coming in at number 7, we have Rivalsons, Dark Fighter. This is the 7th studio album by the band and the first of 2 albums put out by the band this year. Darkfighter was the first, Lightbringer was the second. Lightbringer came out a little later in the year in October. Now, I saw them live in New York City at the Palladium the night that this album was released, and what was really interesting to me about that show is they actually started the show, opened the show with the track that nobody had ever heard of. It wasn't one of the singles from the album, the song Mirrors, which is one of my standout tracks, and it was epic. Everybody was into it. You know, sometimes when a band plays a song that nobody knows, people tend to tune out, but it was just an awesome, epic way to open the show, and these guys did a great job. Produced by Dave Cobb. Now, Dave Cobb produced the most recent Slash featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators album, which I wasn't too happy with the production on, but for some reason, he's produced the last few Rivalsons records, and he does wonders with this band. So hopefully with the next Slash album, he can figure it out a little bit. What was interesting that I learned about this album cover was they actually went in and told the artist that they would like to use AI to create one album cover and then have the artist paint the other album cover as a response. So this one happens to be the AI generated album cover, and if we look at Lightbringer, which is the second album of 2 this year, that one is actually the hand painted cover. So cool fact about that. Like I said, standout tracks: Mirrors, awesome, Bird in the Hand, and Rapture, one of the singles that came out before the album. Absolutely awesome new rock coming out. All right, coming in at number 6, we have Elegant Weapons, Horns for a Halo. Now, this one, for the longest time this year, was actually my top album of 2023. It's their debut studio album, featuring Richie Faulkner from Judas Priest, as well as Ronnie Romero, who has sung recently with Rainbow, the Michael Schenker Group, and lots more. This is blistering heavy metal. If you're a fan of classic 80s heavy metal, this is definitely for you. Similar to the more recent Judas Priest sound, and some standout tracks: Blind Leading the Blind, Bitter Pill, Dirty Pig, all awesome tracks. I highly recommend this album. The vocals are insane on this album. Guitar work is brutal. And like I said, if you're a fan of classic heavy metal, this is definitely up your alley. Coming in at number 5, one of my favorite bands of all time, Buckcherry, with Volume 10, their 10th studio album. And this is definitely continuing on the momentum of their last studio album, Hellbound, which featured the first appearance of new guitar player Billy Rowe for the group from the band Jet Boy. And it's definitely hitting, and they definitely, with the last 2 albums, have hit their stride since the departure of founding guitarist Keith Nelson. And this one doesn't disappoint. It's got some great singles like Good Time, Let's Get Wild. I love the track One and Only, definitely a fast rocker. And their cover of Summer of '69 from Bryan Adams is definitely something worth remembering. I'm usually not too crazy about Buckcherry's covers, aside from a couple here and there, but Summer of '69 definitely captures not only Buckcherry's feel, but also the feel of the original. It stays true to the original, which is really great. This honestly has to be the hardest working band in rock. They never stop touring. It feels like every 2 years they come out with a new album, and they hit a little rough patch for a little bit, especially after the departure of Keith Nelson. But like I said, with the last 2 albums, they've definitely hit their stride, and I'm excited for what's to come. Also produced by Marty Fredrickson. Marty Fredrickson, if you didn't know, has worked with Aerosmith, has worked with, like I said, Buckcherry on their earlier studio albums like Black Butterfly and All Night Long. So he came back to the band with the last album, Hellbound, and he's really injected some energy back into this band. I love what they're coming out with, and as you guys could see, I picked up the signed copy of the vinyl from their website, and one of my favorites of the year for sure. Coming in at number 4, probably one of the most anticipated albums of 2023 was Metallica 72 Seasons. 11th studio album from the band, and combines elements, I think, from Death Magnetic and Hardwired to Self-Destruct. In my opinion, Hardwired was a little too polished for me, and on the contrary, Death Magnetic was a little rough around the edges for sure, which I liked, but this one definitely combines elements from both. I love James Hetfield's vocal sound throughout the album. I think that they really got it right on this one. But however, I think the weakest part of this album is definitely the album cover. I think that the choice not to put the whole Metallica band name on the front was a poor choice, as well as the color. Wasn't too into it when it came out, but you know, you can't have everything. This is about the music. I saw them for the first time this year at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Went to both nights. Absolutely amazing experience getting to see them do a completely different set list both nights. Heard just about every song that I wanted to hear. Had a great time, went with some friends, did the whole tailgate thing, and it was just absolutely fantastic. I definitely want to see Metallica again if they come around. Coming in at number 3, The Winery Dogs. 3 is the album title, and it's their 3rd studio album. This is a band made up of guitarist Richie Kotzen, who played with Poison for a little bit, had a notable solo career. Billy Sheehan, who played with David Lee Roth, Mr. Big, and Mike Portnoy, who played with Dream Theater and who has recently returned to Dream Theater. So definitely nothing short of a supergroup. This album brought a more live sound as opposed to their previous 2 releases, I thought. Amazing songs, and with the Winery Dogs, you're always blown away with their musicianship. Absolutely fantastic players, each and every one of them. And what I think is most impressive about this band is they never step on each other's toes with their music. They're always very respectful of each other and not trying to solo over each other. I've seen them live 3 times, and every time I was absolutely blown away. I'm hoping for more from this band. Mike Portnoy, like I said, just went back to Dream Theater. Billy Sheehan's been doing some stuff with Mr. Big lately. So I'm really hoping that this is not the last studio album from them and that they will return to play some more live shows. Only time will tell, but great album. All right, coming in at number 2 would be Iggy Pop, Every Loser. So this is the 19th studio album from the godfather of punk rock, and it was produced by Andrew Watt, who we're going to hear one more time in this top 10, hint, hint. Andrew Watt worked with Ozzy Osbourne on his past 2 studio albums, also notably Eddie Vedder. He's been known to work with pop artists such as Miley Cyrus, Post Malone, and he has been doing a fantastic job lately, revitalizing these rock artists, bringing out the best from them, and really bringing a modern sound to these legacy artists' newer albums. And like I said, this is really a back to form album from Iggy Pop. The last few albums have been kind of experimental, to say the least, a little softer than what we know him for, but this is loud, angry, aggressive punk rock, great songs, and with some 80s elements put into some of the songs as well, especially when we look at songs like Strung Out Johnny, definitely that David Bowie feel to it. Some other standouts, Frenzy, the lead single, absolutely killer punk song. Modern Day Ripoff, all the way down, just awesome rockers all the way through. And this is one artist from this top 10 that I have not seen live, and I really hope to soon. I know he's getting up there in age, so I really hope he does decide to tour or at least do a few shows around the New York area sometime in the near future. All right, the moment that we've all been waiting for. Number 1, coming in at number 1 is the Rolling Stones' Hackney Diamonds, the 31st studio album from the British rock legends. This is one of my favorite bands of all time, but that is not the sole reason why this is my number 1. This is the first album of original material since A Bigger Bang in 2006. and also the first overall studio album since Blue and Lonesome in 2016. And I like to add that in because some people do forget to put in, to acknowledge that Blue and Lonesome did come out, and that was an awesome album in its own respect. Also produced by Andrew Watt. Andrew Watt has been so busy with these legacy rock artists lately, and I'm really excited to see who he works with next. What else can I say about this album except for same Stones, but a modern sound. We have extremely catchy rocking tunes and also bluesy, soulful tracks. One of the things I like most about this album is it doesn't sacrifice what the Stones are known for, that blues, that really country blues, soulful sound that they really made their own in the 70s. It doesn't sacrifice that for the modern poppy sound that some of the tracks do have. And also, one of the things that I love most about this album, what I love most about this album is that the guest appearances by Elton John, Lady Gaga, Paul McCartney, Stevie Wonder, those don't distract from the sound at all, from their Stone sound at all. When I first heard that there were going to be all those guest appearances, I got a little worried because, when there's all those guest appearances, usually on an album, those artists tend to take a whole verse, tend to take over the song, and it becomes a bit gimmicky, in my opinion. Not on this album. Those guest appearances, though they are legends in their own right, they were used as support for the Stones, and they really enhanced all of the songs in ways that I don't think that it would have been possible without them. This, I honestly have to say, was the best Stones album since Tattoo You in 1981. Overall, they had great songs since then, great moments, but overall, as a whole album, Hackney Diamonds is the best, in my opinion, since 1981's Tattoo You. I'm looking forward to seeing them at MetLife in May. Hoping it's not the last time I see them, but you never know. Since they are getting up in age, this will be the third time that I'm seeing them. And I'm super, super excited. Some standout tracks. Close to You is an awesome second song on the album. Mess It Up, a disco kind of dance feel to it, but I love it. Very catchy. And Sweet Sounds of Heaven, the soulful tune with Lady Gaga, definitely gives off that 70s vibe that the Stones do oh so well. And this copy that I decided to pick up, this was the Rolling Stones store exclusive on blue translucent vinyl. Let me open up the gatefold real quick. I double dipped with Hackney Diamonds, and I did decide to pick up New York Yankees MLB variant. I'm a huge Yankees fan, so once I saw this, I couldn't resist. Really cool variant from the Stones. This one I'm keeping sealed for now, but you never know. I also pre-ordered the live CD that includes the live show at Racket that they did for the album release. So definitely lots and lots of variants to pick up for this album, but definitely worth it because this is a gem. All right, so there you have it, everyone. That was my top 10 albums of 2023. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more content. I'm really excited to start this new channel and start this new YouTube vinyl community, music community, really, journey with all of you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye now.